One of the most common reasons why people tell me they don't want to purchase a new construction home is because they said it is more expensive than purchasing a resale home. I actually looked at the data here in Greenville, South Carolina, and wanted to give you all the facts about purchasing a new construction home. I also wanted to cover some of the pros and cons to purchasing a new construction property. Hi, I'm Evan Whaley, your favorite Greenville realtor. So I actually looked at all the data. Like I mentioned, a lot of people always say, I don't want to buy a new construction home because it's going to be more expensive than a resale property. I wanted to make sure you're the most informed person of what's going on in the new construction market here in Greenville, South Carolina. When I looked at all the numbers and I looked at price per square foot, it's actually $10 cheaper to purchase a new construction home compared to a resale property. It's also about $5,000 cheaper to purchase a new construction home on average than a resale property here in Greenville. Most people are often wondering, why is that? A new house, it comes with warranties, all these great things. Why is it cheaper than a resale property? Well, there's a couple different factors. While we're talking about cost, something that's really important for people to consider if they're thinking about purchasing a new construction home versus a resale home is that right now, new construction builders are offering a lot of incentives. So they may pay for closing costs, they might actually buy down your interest rate to a lower rate than what the rest of the market is getting, which makes it even cheaper. And when you look at it, when it's already slightly cheaper on average and then $10 cheaper per square foot, then you add in this interest rate incentive, making that monthly payment if you're someone purchasing with a loan much lower. So there are a lot of advantages to purchasing a new construction home in this market. Now that we've already talked about the cost of purchasing a new construction home, let's make sure we talk about all the other positives when you're looking at a new construction property. And at the end of this video, I will talk about the cons, the reasons why I find that people don't want to purchase a new construction home. Make sure you stick around for that because it's important if you're making this evaluation, because there's a lot of great reasons to purchase new construction. There's also some that may make you say, I don't want a new construction property, it's not for me. So let's talk about the pros though. I already mentioned cost. That's a big benefit right now. The other benefit is there's a lot of inventory. Almost half of the homes that are available right now are new construction properties. So if you're looking to purchase a home in our area, really anywhere in the entire country right now, new construction has a lot of incentives and typically some good prices, and they've got a lot of inventory available. So it's got to be something that's on your radar. Next is warranties. Every builder is a little bit different, but most builders here in South Carolina offer a 1-to-10 warranty. So let's break down that 1-to-10 warranty, what that actually means. So for the first year, a builder is going to cover just about everything that's within inside the walls and the exterior of your home in that 1 year. This typically is more the minor cosmetic repairs. Your house is going to settle, so you might see some drywall cracking, you might see some nail pops, you might see some cosmetic things that need to be taken care of. The builder will come in around 11 months in most cases, sand it down, repaint it, and it'll look fresh and brand new. So that's really your 1 year. The only thing that I find that most builders don't cover in that 1 year is a landscaping issue. So if you start to see, your grass isn't as green as you hoped it would be, or you're starting to have a little bit of runoff or whatever, most builders aren't going to cover that. But of course, it all depends on the builder. So make sure you have representation and you know exactly what is and isn't covered. Then we look at the 2-year warranty. The 2 years is going to cover your mechanicals. That's typically going to be plumbing, HVAC, anything electrical, all of that's going to be covered within that 2-year period. You're also going to have emergency contacts, and you'll also have warranties directly through manufacturers. So if you get a refrigerator or whatever the case may be, a dishwasher from the builder, typically that's going to come with its own manufacturer warranty, and it all depends on the manufacturer. But we look at that, those 2 years you've got covered, you've got emergency services that'll help you out. And then you've got a 10-year warranty, which are 10 years for your structure of your property. That's going to cover any foundation cracks, any big structural large issues there. When we look at the warranties there, that just gives buyers a lot of security and safety in making a purchase. Another big positive for most people when they're purchasing a new construction home is they have a home that is not out of date. Everything is fresh, it's clean. They're the first people that have lived there, the first ones that have sat on their toilet seat. That's something I often hear people say. So that is really nice to have just this fresh, nice product that is in style, up to date. And depending on where you purchase this new construction home, you might have made all of the selections yourself so you get exactly what you want. Which again is another positive. If you're someone building a new construction home, you start from the very beginning and you work with the right builder, you can pretty much pick out every facet of that home to be exactly what you're looking for. Something else that can be a big positive about purchasing a new construction home, especially if you start at the very beginning of the phase, is you get to see every square inch of that house being put together. So you can go out and you can see exactly what the frame of the house looks like. You can have it inspected. You know what's behind the drywall. Whereas when you purchase a resale home, you're not exactly going to know what's behind that drywall. You know, hopefully if it's been there a long time, there's going to be no major issues, but you just never know. So you have a little bit more clarity on exactly what you're getting. So there's a lot of pros I could talk about with new construction. I probably could continue going, but I think you kind of get the overall gist. Typically what I find when people want to purchase a new construction home is they want to know exactly what's going in their home. They want the peace of mind of having warranties. They want to pick everything out. They want to, potentially take advantage of these incentives and great pricing. So that's what I find people are doing here for new construction in the Greenville area for the most part. Now let's talk about the cons. Why would someone not want to purchase a new construction home? Because all those things, of course, sound amazing. What are some of the cons that you have to evaluate? But just speaking in generalities of what we'll see in 90% of the new construction communities here, one thing that most people will decide to purchase a resale home for instead of going with a new construction property is typically because the lot sizes in new construction tend to be smaller. Again, not always the case, but in most cases what we're finding right now is a lot of our regional national builders are purchasing large plots of land and they're making smaller and smaller lots because they're trying to fit as many homes as possible in there. And that goes back to the affordability standpoint. They want to make an affordable home for the average home buyer in the U.S. So that's a big part of the process is, if you offer more land, it costs more. So they're trying to reduce cost. The second point that I find, and it kind of goes back to the land, is the homes tend to be closer together. They tend to make more long lots and not as wide. They tend to be pretty narrow, so your neighbors can be a little close to you. And another thing that we found is builders have gotten very efficient with using that plot of land. So potentially your house may back up to someone else's as well, so your backyards will basically look at each other. Some people don't want that. They want more privacy. They want to back up to woods. And again, there's pretty much every community that I find here in the upstate does have those lots that do back up to woods or privacy, or you might not have a neighbor behind you. But if you're looking at the bulk of the homes that are in that community, they do that. So it's just something else to consider, and some people care and some people don't care about that. Number 3 would be location. What we find, there's new construction communities that are everywhere, so you can find your location and school district more or less if you're looking to purchase new construction. But, of course, a lot of the premium land has been taken. A lot of the neighborhoods have already been built there. So that's something where if you are really particular and you need to be in a certain area, maybe new construction isn't the right fit for you. And number 4, I find a lot of people really want mature landscaping. Maybe they want big trees, they want to see a nice flower bed out front. With new construction, you're not going to see as much of that because they typically will clear cut everything to be able to build homes efficiently in the community. So it's just going to take time for that neighborhood to mature. Number 5, if you're purchasing early in a new construction community, and I have a video that I've done on this before where I talk much more in depth about purchasing early in a new construction community, but in general, if you're purchasing in a new construction community, unless you're at the very end, you're going to have a lot of construction noise, construction debris. There's just a couple things you have to deal with as a homeowner that you wouldn't deal with in a resale community. Another thing that I want to make sure that I point out is a lot of people have this misconception that if they purchase a new construction home, they won't have any expenses. That's not the case, but what I find is most people end up having to put blinds in the house, a refrigerator, a washer and dryer, where in a resale property, you might already have some of that. If you're someone who's into landscaping, you might have some costs there as well because you're not going to have some of the more mature landscaping. It's going to be more clear cut, like I already mentioned. So those are just some things you might want to consider. Now, a lot of builders are throwing in incentives and are giving away a lot of those items, but you just need to know where you're at and where your expenses are going to be if you do purchase a new construction home. Something that I found that is a little unique to Greenville, and really it kind of fits for resale as well, but I see more resale communities with this than I see for new construction, is sidewalks. I find that people really value and love sidewalks. Now, most of our neighborhoods tend to be under 200, 250 homes, so I find that most people feel totally comfortable walking their dogs, taking their kids in a stroller through the neighborhood, even if they don't have sidewalks, but it's something that people really like and people have mentioned. The last one that I want to mention in this video, what I found is interesting, is the post office has actually made this requirement now where you need to have community mailboxes. So in new construction communities, what you'll notice is that all the mailboxes will be in one centralized area. There'll be 40, 50 mailboxes attached to one big pole, and then they'll have big boxes at the bottom to actually drop off potential Amazon packages or whatever there. Some people don't love that. They want the individual mailbox, and from my understanding, this is being pushed by the post office and likely could be something that's going to get pushed into the resale market at some point in the future. But it's just something to consider. If you really like having that mailbox at your house and being able to walk from your front door to your mailbox, new construction might not fit for you, because every new construction community I'm seeing is doing the community mailboxes. And a lot of new construction communities, to save on cost, have not been going towards sidewalks. Around 20% of the new construction communities have been offering sidewalks, so they definitely are an option. But it's just something that if it's a must-have for you, put it on your list and you make sure you find a community that actually offers those. Well, there you have it. There's so many amazing reasons to purchase a new construction home, and there's also some reasons why you might not want to, all based on personal preference. I'm curious, after watching this video, what was the most helpful tip that I gave you? Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you found this content helpful, I release videos every week on new construction, all things Greenville, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to be informed when our new videos come out.